Is this such a good? Is this a Matrix coincidence?
No.
What do you mean? Stop! What do you mean? Stop! It's real, brother. People are out here to run the game. What do you want me to tell you? What am I saying? I'm just giving you straight facts, bro. Yeah, well, I'm gonna eat McDonald's because Warren Buffett eats McDonald's. You ain't Warren Buffett.
It's all PvP. The whole world, people are not, again, acting in your best interest, and so you need an edge.
Dude, these people are worth trillions of dollars. Trillions of dollars. The reason I did $16 million in dropshipping was because I thought about things differently.
Okay, but Luke, 26-year-old retired baller.
Not baller, bro.
Okay,
Not
sorry,
baller, bro. Dude, ballers. If you go to Dubai, that's baller shit,
Yeah,
bro.
for
I
real.
went there and I was humbled.
For sure.
I was
There's levels
humbled.
to this. Okay, but you're retired.
Yeah.
So you've done very well in life at a very young age, and this is what most people aspire to be objectively on the outside. So I want to get really deep into that because obviously I would want to ask, like, how could anybody replicate your success? But everybody's unique. You all had unique angles, and there's a little bit of luck for everybody. So it's kind of hard to digest that. But totally opposite of what I just said, what do you think about AI?
Dude, so AI is going to displace so many people. I said it yesterday on Jordan's video when I was coming here because it's my first time in Breckenridge, and I look forward for us to do these more often, these trips. But you know when you do like the self-tag at the airport, it makes sense, right? You don't need as many people ticketing, you use automation. But then you're supposed to take your ticket, you're supposed to now apparently bag it yourself, and you leave it on the counter for the lady to or the guy or whoever to basically put it on the little line that takes it away. So I go and I hand the lady my little sticker and I hand her my suitcase, and she's like, no, you need to put the sticker on the suitcase. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Why are you here? Well, I'm here to supervise that you put the sticker on the suitcase. And I looked at her, I was like, you will be replaced by AI. And the reason I said that to her is because
You told her that?
yeah, straight up.
Dude, I love
It's
that.
funny. It's funny because, and it's true. She looked at me
I
like,
would never
what?
say
Like,
that.
she's like, wait, what? Like, didn't make sense. But I said it to her because it made sense. It made sense that the value that she provides to her company can be replaced by automation. And I think the level of intelligence that it's going to be able to have long term, not short term, I think that there's an extensive period of growth. What we're seeing right now is sort of like ground rules, and you see this automation kind of playing because sometimes Chat GPT does some dumb stuff,
confidently
right?
wrong. Yeah.
And it plays within the sandbox of the creator. So the creator sets the rule set, right, as to how the AI can process information and what it can't talk about or can't touch. So as they begin to expand kind of the API, or other companies begin to develop their own products, and as entrepreneurs and like us that are kind of like on more of a come up stage and not that established big organization kind of structure, which I personally don't really enjoy anyway, we can start creating, as tools become more available, we can create our own AI and train our own AI. Because if you want to compete in 2040, you think you're going to be competing with human mental power? No, dude. You have to be competing with your AI, with your robots, with your automations, with your softwares, because that's where the future is headed, and it's going to be huge. And if you're not on it, you're going to miss out. So the skill set now is not just blue collar that's going to be replaced. I think white collar is going to be replaced
Doctors, lawyers,
way faster than blue collar,
It's more
because
important.
it's, dude, creating, it's not just AI, but you need to create robots and machinery to power what would be manual labor. You need not only software, you need hardware. But on white collar, dude, most of this stuff is now digital. You only need software. You do not need to go into hardware necessarily. So I think a lot of these jobs are going to get just absolutely demolished. Dude, you will not need consultants anymore. You can consult the most intelligent consultant there is, right? If you teach it that way. But I think people need to start utilizing it. If not, they're going to be left behind. I think it's powerful.
How do you position yourself, like short term right now, and then once things do change, how does our world still fundamentally operate? Because this could threaten capitalism.
Freedom. It could threaten freedom, bro, beyond capitalism.
So short term, next few years, I feel like it's gonna be like phases of AI. So
Yeah,
like
for sure.
This first phase that we're hitting right now, because it's here and
Yeah.
it's good,
And it's like hot too.
and anyone can use it.
It's hot, dude.
And so it's like happening. And so obviously there's a lot of like value arbitrage opportunities to make a little short-term business, but eventually one AI is going to rule them all. So short-term, phase one, what should people do? What's the most optimal way they can like actionably protect themselves, I guess.
Yeah. So how you can participate per se in kind of like the AI revolution, we'll call it, is you need to start if you're an entrepreneur per se, you need to start building companies of the future.
Okay.
Technology is accelerating so quickly that if you're building companies of today, tomorrow they'll become irrelevant. So you need to build companies of the future. You need to build companies that are going to be relevant tomorrow, and that the evergreen period before that becomes irrelevant is extensive. For example, the first introduction of the internet. If you started building products and companies when the internet started, before AI or crazy automations were introduced, you had what, 20 years, 15 years, a pretty decent gap right there to build. I think we're going to have a decade where AI is still very,
that long. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Because you're talking about, but maybe I'm wrong, dude. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, we don't know the capacity that currently exists. True. And the fact that what is currently publicly available is so powerful has to be a clue that there is something more powerful out there in private
Google
hands,
has
bro.
one. This is
100%,
the first one that
dude.
got public.
100%. One of the members from Capital Club sold one of his companies for $50 million, and he was a software guy. And I asked him the same question: "What do you think about AI?" And he's like, "Dude, you have no idea. If you think what they released in the public is the actual stuff, they gatekeep 99.9% of stuff. So the amount of power that's already
scary.
out there, it is scary. And if you look at, for example, BlackRock uses an AI called Aladdin to do forecasting and predictions. And they've had this model being developed over the last several years, and that beats and trumps every other software and automation and any other person that's playing the game.
Like, they could have had such an evolved AI for so long,
100%,
trading
dude.
markets, and if it's actually a true AI,
think about the advantage you have to have
to make that much
13 trillion plus
Dumb.
whatever in assets
Dumb.
under management. You don't just get there by chance. You need to have massive amounts of leverage or super intelligent people.
And they're the first big company to figure it out, and now they're the biggest company by a long shot. And so that could still work at a micro level for like the up and coming entrepreneurs.
100%.
Right?
I think it's also understanding, bro, is the fact that software and robots, Naval Ravikant talks about it. He says, we're using bots and automation. They're all like little micro workers and employees that do not sleep. They do not rest. They're there 24/7. They don't complain. They do what you tell them to do, and they're reliable. Yeah. And that's super powerful, and that's going to rule out a ton of people.
He had a good tweet that this is like a calculator, but for English and writing. He tweeted that today. Banger tweet.
Banger.
Involves the man. But it's very interesting because a lot of people aren't entrepreneurial, and so I feel like I talk to a small audience when I talk that way, but that's our interest. So the everyday person. Actually, let's take it this way. 18-year-old kid. 3 years ago, we'd ask someone, you need to get hard skills. You need to provide value, because no matter your network, if you're not valuable to someone, even if you meet Luke Belmar, how can you help them? But it'd be like copywriting or video or these hard skills that you could provide value to someone. What should someone be learning if AI is going to do all this?
There's a few things that I think are extremely important that I think AI and technology will never be able to replace, which is human connection, which is community, and emotional connections. I think that like transcend momentary like happiness. I'm talking about deep relational, emotional connections. I think that these also create culture, right? Culture is dictated and created by people. And I think that there's a human factor and a human element that allows the world to go round. And even if AI is created, and yes, it learns by itself in the near future, it teaches itself, it has an origin point. And that origin point has biases, right? Because it's been created by somebody that is set it in such a way where, for example, you go to ChatGPT now and you ask for something and it says, it could tell you literally, my creators do not allow me to go beyond this border, or this is not something safe. Well, who told you that it's not safe? My creators told me that it's not safe, right? So you always have that bias in kind of preconceived data that comes in that could potentially inflict pendulum swings where AI isn't neutral, which is the ideal utopia. But I never see it really becoming neutral.
The purpose of OpenAI is so that they can like let people at least start using it and benefit from it, but they can control it and try to set standards. Yeah. Obviously, that's like PR.
I mean, ask him. We all know, for example, right? You know me. I'm big on spring water, right? I hate fluoride in the system. I'm big on GMO foods. Do not eat like crazy shit like that. Don't eat fast foods. and the other one is like seed oils.
Which is important because you need to be optimal.
Correct.
Mental
But
capacity at
if
all
you
times.
if you ask ChatGPT now, like what
Yeah.
is the ecosystem of, or what's your thoughts on seed oils, right? And what's kind of like the habitat around them? It'll tell you all the positive shit, and it'll be like, yeah, but you know, you got to be careful with them. It's like anybody that truly understands seed oils will tell you, do not consume that. So you are playing within whatever rule set that it's been
Why
given.
is that information suppressed? Why is the opposite narrative promoted?
Well, I think it's very simple. It's been happening since the dawn of kind of controlled civilizations, which is you need to keep your citizens and your slaves, you need to keep them in check, right? And the best way to keep them in check is to keep them weak. And we've kind of transitioned from manual labor kind of being the main force of slavery to now it being more of like mental and energetic and time-based consumption. And the system kind of realized, me beating a slave with a whip, I'm not getting the most out of him, right? So what do I have to do? I'm going to trick him. I'm going to deceive him into, we can talk about the entire money system. And I think that that's kind of like,
I want to go to that soon.
yeah, I think that that's going to be a good topic. But circling back, I just think people need to, if you're an 18-year-old, I think you need to be developing skills.
Do social skills become more important?
Yeah, bro, social skills, because now you're interacting with people, and the people that understand how the game is played, they understand that everything is built in rooms with people, right? And they are the ones that are deciding. Whether it's in 100 years that AI is going to be the deciding factor, I don't know. There's an anime called Psychopaths that I recommend everybody watch, and it's this AI that is like 100 or 1,000 brains of different people of society, criminals, billionaires, peasants, everything, and it forms what is supposed to be the controlled neutral mind, but it's not neutral. It's extremely biased. And in the anime, it kind of shows you that entire narrative of a credit system, of a mental check, of a daily pill that they need to consume to manage their mental level and their mood. So civilization has always flourished when the working class are subjugated and they are enslaved, and that's how you build societies. Unfortunately, societies are built on the back of slaves, and today we just have modern day slaves.
Once you learn that these companies or these businesses don't have your best interest in mind when they're propagandizing you with just marketing ads, but commercials, ads on Facebook.
I mean, dude,
those are not there to make your life better, even though that's the feeling you're supposed to get intentionally from the ad.
Can I tell you something crazy?
Yes.
So I went to
Please.
Okay, so I go to Michael Phelps' Instagram. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, there's something super crazy. What the fuck is Michael Phelps doing doing a paid partnership with who?
No way. Pfizer?
With Pfizer. So here you have Michael Phelps saying, I'm doing a paid partnership with Pfizer. It says ad, #ad. And what does he categorize himself with? It wasn't until recently that I learned my struggle with depression. How many people have depression, right? So it's a big blanket statement. The next character, right? Who's this chick?
Is that the Lindsey Vonn lady?
No, look at the.
Oh, it's Pink?
Yeah, so you have Pink. And once again,
Can't believe I just mixed it.
who's the paid partnership?
I mean, they're getting after
Pfizer.
it, for sure.
And what does she say? She says, unfortunately, I was unaware of this for the first time when I got COVID-19. What was she unaware? That she had asthma her entire life. How many people have asthma, right? So it takes all these different people to promote different kind of macro scenarios.
It's like my medic desire.
And it's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck, dude? If this was such a crisis, why are you running ads? It makes no sense. People should be running to the stores if people were dying and falling dead right next to you. And
This
it's
is
kind of
only
like
in America, isn't it?
it's a tricky situation,
With
brother.
Pharmaceutical ads.
Yes, America's really, really, really bad.
Just
I
aggressively
think
bad.
about 60 to 70% of people in the United States have chronic illnesses, whereby 100 years ago it was sub 10%.
This is like I
And this
kind
is
of believe
real.
in this because it's like my medic desire. Like humans are mimicking creatures. If I see someone do something and I think it's cool, subconsciously I'll start like doing that same thing. Whether it's the way they move their body, the way they said something, tonality. Like that's how we learn as kids. We're just copying our parents' movements. So that theory makes a lot of sense. And so if you guys don't see this stuff, you don't understand what we're talking about. It's because you haven't studied psychology. You haven't studied human behavior. You're all on TikTok. You're all distracted all the time. And I think that is the best skill you have when AI comes.
The reason you are on TikTok is because somebody understands the psychology of a 13-year-old, and TikTok is designed to keep you on the app.
Every decision.
When you scroll to refresh and you slide your thumb down and it does the refresh, it's supposed to mimic when you pull the roulette. right, in the casino, because you don't know what's the next video that's going to pop up, right? So you get a dopamine hit. So every time you swipe down, like the casino, cha-ching machine, right? Dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine. You are literally not addicted to TikTok. You're addicted to dopamine hits. And if TikTok had their best interest in mind, or all these other social media platforms, they wouldn't be hiring psychologists to figure out how can we keep people on our app. But I understand
the social dilemma.
But I understand the business side of it, right? TikTok is competing with Snapchat. Snapchat is competing with IG. So there's a lot of
duty, you know?
There's a lot of technocrats, right, or heads of these big companies that don't necessarily 100% fuck with the other companies, or they want to be the top dog. So you have a lot of rivalries, and I understand the capitalistic side of it, but we also have to be able to address the other side of it.
Okay, this is a great segue for what to talk about. So one, social skills, I think that's going to be the most important thing, because everyone's diminishing that. If you study psychology, study persuasion, study how to talk
how
to
people work,
make people feel good when they interact with you, that's going to be very valuable when AI is doing all the crafts, all the hard skills. But let's assume that AI is doing all these blue collar, white collar, doctors, lawyers, everything. They can diagnose you to the T, no debate. We all understand they're better. So in our society right now, a lot of money is made in inefficiencies in markets based on these skills. And the reason a lot of people are incentivized to pursue these things is so they can make money, and money gives them status. Okay? So let's say we're on a universal basic income. AI is doing everything. We're all paid $4,000 a month. How do we gain status?
So status, I think it's an important one. I think status is earned by doing things that most people can't do.
Okay.
Right. So if you look at, for example, Michael Phelps, he's used on the ad of Pfizer. Why? Because he's a person of influence. Why is he a person
at swimming ever.
Exactly. So he has 25 plus gold medals, right? So he's a person of influence.
But what drives you to be that good of a swimmer if there's no money, monetary gain?
I think
solely status.
I mean,
admiration.
I mean, that's the assumption that everybody does stuff for money. Like if you look at these guys that are paragliding for Red Bull, making $3,000 a month, just like going crazy through the, like they're doing it out of straight passion. So I think there can be a utopian scenario where it becomes like a renaissance and we become an artistic culture, or it can become a dystopian scenario where we're literally just running on universal basic income. We are monitored and controlled like cattle, and we go into a pretty nefarious future. It all comes down to us. Right. And that's the reality of the situation. There's players on both ends. There's bad players, but then there's also good players. And good and evil is also, once again, an iffy scenario, because what may be evil to one person may be phenomenal for another guy. Right. So a person that comes from a country or background where globalization is normal, right? The entire World Economic Forum Davos agenda that's taken place is okay. It's normal. It makes sense to them. But if you come, let's say, from the United States and you're like, I'm a freedom dude, I like slinging my guns, right? I like shooting in the range. I like going hunting. I like fishing. I'm doing whatever.
It's your culture,
Yeah, fuck globalization, right? So I understand that perspective as well. So this good and evil is also a spectrum of perception. And I think we also need to be careful with that. I think we need to have these conversations, and these platforms need to enable these conversations in a way that is healthy, right? Because if you don't do it, people will dissent, because people are not stupid. And I think people are waking up to a lot of the realities of how the world works. And I think we need to do a better job at disseminating this information in a way that is unbiased. And we do that by looking at things from multiple perspectives and not holding on to your perspective as the ultimate truth.
So important.
Yeah.
So I was talking to this with Arlen Moore on Twitter last night, and there's like two routes you could go, I feel like. Like we could either the metaverse happens, we're in VR worlds where we can achieve status in this digital world, and our everyday life is everyone lives in like pods. It's the same. All your essentials are taken care of. Or we go to the artistic, everyone's just doing it for the purpose of the craft. But even then, how many people could be like, there's still needs, that's still like, now it's 0.0001% of every field.
Now, but that's based off of how people
like
are
Hunger
raised
Games
in
level,
culture.
bro.
But that's based off of how people are raised in culture. If you actually think about it, if you look at the American school system, right, it's based on the Prussian school system to develop what? Soldiers and workers. So if you look at how the school system is in the United States, dude, right now, Google some videos on, just put high school cafeteria. It looks like a prison.
100%.
It looks like a prison. You're under fluorescent lights. You're concrete walls. The fuck are you doing in a concrete wall? Why are these kids not going outside?
Optimal cost budget, like.
But it's not about that. It's about conditioning, right? It's about conditioning, because there's somebody that's dictating the books that are being
I want to
place.
make this clear. The person you're talking about is the top of the top of the top person. Every other person, like people in the organization, people in the district board, people in the state,
Yep.
they probably have good intentions, and they're just doing what they think
They
is
are
right.
they're doing what they're told, and that's
Exactly.
how most people operate, right? Most if I talk to a ton of people, a lot of the reasons they do what they do is because there's repercussions in their real life if they
circumstance.
don't abide.
Yeah.
So
And they're self-interested.
and that's where I think entrepreneurship is important. That's my philosophy on entrepreneurship is a lifestyle of freedom, right? And you don't have to be out here making 50 grand, 100 grand a month, $1 million a month to live the life of an entrepreneur. But fuck you if I want to do something and I can't do it because you're going to fire me, right? Because that's not freedom.
I can never.
Exactly. But most people have fear, and the fear is built up in the system, right? Where is it built up? The fear of failure. As soon as you're a kid, you're not
Reprimanded
encouraged
in
to
class,
fail.
yeah.
You're reprimanded. You get an F. Dude, imagine calling a child a failure. It makes no sense. It's absolutely ridiculous. So every time in their life, they're conditioned that if they don't listen and obey the rules, they're failures. So what happens if they're about to break out of the mold and go work their own company, build their own? Dude, the pressure is massive. But that's all
Worst time of my
conditioning.
life.
But imagine the school system was now based on like a Renaissance artistic self-development, pursue your highest potential kind of
Yeah.
Greek ecosystem. Now you're conditioning society to operate that way. But there was I think his name was Yuri. I can't pronounce his last name, but he was a former Russian spy, and he talks about how Russia infiltrated the American school system and the university system, and that it only takes 15 years to recondition a population. Right, so you also have to understand that
Really?
there's
Optimistic.
that there's other people and with other agendas in other countries or in your own country that are working really hard and are extremely powerful to see their narrative come through. And there's a lot of butting of heads, and that's kind of why we see all these clashes in the world take place. It's a big ego battle for power and
Literally.
dominion over humanity. That's the truth.
Damn. Okay. One last thing on the skills. If social skills are a thing, my favorite thing about you has always been how articulate you are, how excited I am when I listen to you, and your body language and everything. How conscious has that been? How strategic has that been? Where do you think that was been developed from?
So I've actually been doing I started with doing Instagram lives. I would do like 4-hour Instagram lives with like 20 people watching me, and we would talk about like the stuff that I talk about today. Right? And I've been talking about this stuff since 2019, 2020, and I think it's just practice. That's the first thing. The second
Were
thing.
you social in high school? Like, were you like
No,
generally
no.
well
I
liked,
only
or-
had like 2 or 3 friends. Like I kind of did my own thing. I played mostly sports. I went outside. I did kind of like my thing with my brothers, and that was pretty much it. Like I wasn't very much, I'm not a party guy. I'm kind of do my own thing, and that was kind of like the entire scenario. But I think in some way, shape, or form, that was beneficial because you don't have certain levels of distractions that allow you to kind of level up, and that level up is what allows to develop skills like oration or thinking, because thinking itself is a skill. So a lot of people are on autopilot and they don't use their thinking. They have the most powerful processor, right, available to them, and they're not using them. I still believe 100% the human mind is a lot more powerful than any sort of AI, because you can not only tap into what is this physical realm and your consciousness, but you can tap into ethereal realms, and you can tap into different realities, and you can tap into different frequencies. And I think that is also extremely important, because you're in a situation now where people are running autopilot. And I think if you can develop those skills like thinking, oration, they're going to come from constant repetition, which is extremely important, training, and exposing yourself to scenarios that are going to push you to grow. It's like snowboarding, dude. It's like literally the same thing. You have to get yourself beat up on the slopes. You can't fake it. It's one of those things, like you can't fake certain skills. They come with practice and repetition. And people aren't willing to commit to one thing and see it through, like consistently work on it and become really, really good. So people got to stick to some lane. And like you said, bro, AI is one of those lanes that you better get on.
I think for me, I read the book Great Gatsby, and he was like down bad when he started, but then he like consciously studied how to talk, how to like phrase things, how to actually like persuade people. And for me in high school, just seeing that he had to consciously try to become better and to learn that thing, like it sounds so dumb, but like flipped a switch in my mind. Like I should be consciously learning specific things that I think I want to be better at, because I want to be better at it. Where school's giving you like a list of what they think you should be good at, and most people just hate that, reject it.
What they
and
want
say
you
learning is
to
dumb.
be good at. what they want you to be good at because you are human capital. So you're an expendable resource of energy.
This is why this is where I push back.
Okay,
Because
tell me why.
Everybody
Tell me why.
in that school system is being manipulated.
100%.
So you can't. These people are going to be
But
like,
you're
they're
not-
going to go to their teachers and be like, "You're the Matrix." But the teacher is just doing what she thinks is best because the principal thinks what he's doing what he thinks is best.
Yeah, but
And
it's
so
it's
like
very
the
much
evil is way higher than these people actually even know. That for 17 and 18-year-olds, I think it's more important to focus on actually just motivating self-learning.
I agree with you. I agree with self-learning.
And your ethereal stuff too.
You
Get there because now you have millions and you can do.
You have the
nothing
ability
but
to
learn about.
I understand.
It.
I
So
understand.
Most
There's a
people listening
process.
aren't there yet.
I agree.
I'm just getting
But
there. Maybe.
here's where I would like argue the thought of, because you're ignorant on on the result of your actions, you're not guilty, right? And I think that there is a level of responsibility that, as for example, a teacher, you need to understand that as a teacher, you're there to educate. Dude, all these teachers have great intentions, bro. They're fucking amazing people.
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean that the curriculum that they're teaching is good.
But they're not conscious enough either because they're in the Matrix too.
Understood.
So
the point is, that's why I don't say people. That's why I say the system.
Okay.
Because it's fundamentally a system that is designed by not one person, not two people. It's something that kind of, like you said, people see, monkey do. And it's just a repetition of a cycle of snowballing.
and your
effect.
environment and the parents
100%.
you're around when your parents don't have a great life. They
It's
think,
a big- it's
if
a
I
big
went
of
to
everything.
college, I would have got a degree, then my life would have been way better. And that's what they associate their
Dude,
lack
like
for.
imagine all these teachers, right? They go into debt 30, 40, 50,000 to go make 30, 40, 50,000. Most of them, they're fucking passionate. I have my 5th grade teacher was amazing, right? She was out there hustling. I went back, I visited her a decade later. She was still teaching 5th grade, right? So boss, absolute boss.
Respect.
Yeah,
Hero.
massive respect.
Yeah.
But now the question is, where did you get the term hero from?
Yeah.
You were told teachers were heroes. You were told
That's
doctors
so true.
were heroes.
That is so true, and it's still in me.
And
Yeah.
do you perceive them that way when in reality, the second or third largest cause of deaths in America is medical malpractice? Right? So that you call them
way left.
you call them heroes
Yeah.
because you're told to call them heroes, when in fact they're just people
Yeah.
doing their job.
I
We are
think-
supposed to question how people do their job.
I think we say that because they don't get paid very well, and they're like serving others.
Yeah.
Mainly. That's
And
why.
okay,
for
that's a big thing.
elementary school.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
I think teachers should be paid extremely better. That is 100%
But
true.
more so, I feel it should be like there should be less teachers, and everybody should be learning from the best people in their fields, essentially. And then
You would centralize information too much that way.
I agree, but at the same time, how like there's such a the level
Because
of talent
imagine,
in teachers
but just
and
imagine the amount of
lower income-
philosophies around the same topic, dude.
But imagine but like for elementary school, like I get that, and it's dangerous, like saying the Pledge of Allegiance every day, like
Like that's nuts.
it's nuts. But it's total tangent. But just the level of quality of teachers in lower income areas and higher income, private and public, like there's a lot of disparate.
The discrepancy is huge on the quality of
affects the
education.
kids.
Yeah.
And so
that's all on purpose. That's 100% on purpose. Dude, everything is on purpose.
I get it. But I don't think it's that evil. Maybe I'm just an optimistic guy. And
You are an optimistic guy.
I'm
I'm an optimistic guy as well. That's why I'm so focused on making sure that these 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, when they get on YouTube, which is the other half of their
I want to
day,
talk about this. Yes.
that they're listening to another voice and another opinion. And it's for them to understand that it's literally just an opinion, and that their goal is to gain as many opinions as possible to be able to form a worldview that sustains and elevates their fullest potential. Whether it's Luke or it's
YouTube.
not Luke.
But it's YouTube.
YouTube is huge,
We
dude.
were the first. The reason I am where I am today is because we are the first generation where we had computers day one, we had internet day one, and we had YouTube day one. So in 2nd grade, if I had a question, I could YouTube it. If I was curious about how to play a certain video game and learn a certain hack, I could YouTube it. If I wanted a life philosophy, ancient civilizations, any conspiracy, I could YouTube it. If my parents wanted to learn any of that, they had to drive 30 minutes to a library, sort through 7,000 books, pick 3, read through 300 pages to answer maybe one kind of in the same context. That's how long it took them to learn one thing. Where we have been, since the start of our brain development, able to use YouTube. So, the point I'm trying to make, if you're a kid, or you're in a high school, or you're trying to be successful, you need to be self-motivated to learn and learn everything you want on YouTube, and make sure all of your friends are doing that too. Do not rely on the school system. You're not doing enough.
Yes, but then also
Be careful
understanding
of the algorithm.
also understanding that YouTube is washed, right? Like the videos that are allowed on different social platforms, like when you hit any term, let's say you hit entrepreneurship skills
I'm
to
talking
learn.
about hard skills, life
Correct.
lessons.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
fucking
I
the
understand.
truth of the universe.
Okay.
right?
Okay. I understand. Okay. Yes. Then you could learn any hard skill you can learn on YouTube. Any trait you can learn on YouTube. Like you could learn how to become an electrician,
Mechanic,
a plumber, a
anything.
mechanic.
Just find people that have that problem.
An orator. Like you can become, when it comes to skill based, you can learn a ton of stuff on YouTube.
Video.
When it comes to the physical reality, 100%. Now, if you want to talk existential stuff and the system and all this shit, no, not even, bro. Don't go to Gaia. Don't go to Gaia.
Okay, don't go to
Gaia. Go to you have to do your research. You have to go to multiple platforms. You have to listen to multiple people, and books are also important because what we also need to understand is that we can't just rely on other people for information for them to take. Somebody learned that information.
There's an
right?
agenda in most pieces.
Correct. So somebody learned that information and they kind of reframed it and put it in a way that suits them, their audience, and things
That's
like that.
my YouTube channel. We were talking about this the other day. I listened to the CEOs of AI companies and say it so normal people can understand it.
Yeah, and the goal is to have that, but to also question those creators 100%. And to question those trains of thought. And the same thing is with teachers.
But if you study psychology, you read these books, you can identify what.
But isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting that I like the culture of the internet because it's very raw, and it's raw because we're like, let's say I could consider you a somebody that educates teenagers and mid adults on tech trends, on entrepreneurship, on business and lifestyle. I think I could call you a teacher in these things. Yeah. But people can question you and shit on you if they want to.
I get it all the time.
If you were a teacher in a school,
no, you can't.
You're not allowed to.
That's fair enough.
Right? You can't question. And it's the same thing not only with teachers, it's also with parents. There's a system and no, you can't question. But questioning,
my mom was by my side. She'd come in the room and yell.
But questioning allows the teacher to improve, and it keeps the teacher accountable, right? We see so many instances where YouTubers are held accountable for the things they say or the things that they do.
Live stream their classes every day, like 24/7, like for the kids, parents. Be interesting.
But there's a lot of secrecy right now happening between like the school system and like the parental figures having access to like information and things of this nature. Like you can, in California, they passed a law recently that you can literally focus on transgender reassignment without parental consent, being a minor, and the parent doesn't even have to know. So
I'm not going into this topic.
So we're not going to go into this topic.
Kids are not going to public schools.
But the point is, it's there, right? Yeah. And people need to be aware and they need to be cautious. I'm not here to, dude, if you want to chop your little child's balls.
No, stop. We're changing the topic.
We're changing the topic.
Okay. So,
PG.
This is a fantastic conversation, though. Okay, so this is one that I actually really want your advice on because you do know a lot about this field, and one I can't comprehend because I'm like a creative person and believe in the best in people. But if we're going towards AI takes over these jobs, right? Money is, everybody's making the same amount. What happens to our current bank accounts? What happens to our current money? If we have a new currency, it's not the US dollar, maybe it's CBDC. If I have $1 million today and everybody else has 50,000, then I'm only going to be able to make 4,000, not allowed to make more. What happens?
So the first thing people need to know is that there's something called the FDIC, and the FDIC insures each bank account
250 grand.
250 grand. So these motherfuckers out here flexing $10 million in a bank account, they literally don't seem to understand that if there's a bank run, the bank run's never going to happen. Till it happens, motherfucker. It's going to happen, right? And you're only going to get back $250,000. Why? Because when you deposit money in the bank, you are no longer the benefactor and the owner of that money. You've given it as a loan and a right of use, right?
This is well known.
To the banks. Not to most people, to people like us.
Okay, fair.
That's why we like crypto.
But what happens to people like us? What should people like us do?
I want to address the people that don't know first.
Okay, fine.
So, I want to address the people that don't know. So you have the situation whereby you only have 250,000 insured. At any moment, a bank run can happen and your money's gone. So the first objective is to become self-banked.
Diversify.
Self-banked. What does self-banked mean? Is that you do not depend on BlackRock through a 401k to be trading basket of assets for you. No, you should be educated and intelligent enough to build your own investment portfolio, right? Fuck these 401ks. People are like, I got to work. I just want my money deposited. Perfect. That's why the system is there, because most people are lazy. And that's why it works. Like, it works because people don't want to put in the extra hours. So for the people that want to put in the extra hours, I guess it makes sense to build your own portfolio the same way we do. You have not only portfolio management,
like a direct brokerage, or
no, like you get your 401k, you can extract X amount of money from your paycheck, go straight into your 401k, right? And who manages that 401k investment, right? These big companies, these big organizations, right? So who conditioned you to invest into a 401k?
TV.
The exact same guys that are collecting the money
The
to
people-
invest
I don't
on your
know,
behalf.
yeah.
Right? So you have this big situation where you have these bank runs that take place every 100 years. Do the research, do the history. Money is extremely new. Like how we perceive money, this fiat currency, this current format of central banking is extremely new. 1971, we left the gold standard, we go into full fiat mode, right? What happens? What people don't talk about is that the president in 1971, he did a recall on gold. And he told everybody, right, it became illegal to own gold. It became illegal in the United States of America to own gold. You could own up, I think, to like 5 to 7 ounces. I don't remember the exact number. And then you had to sell all your money, all your gold back to the government for a standard price, a standardized price. And this was to stimulate the economy when in fact it was stealing, because anybody that can create money out of thin air and print it, it's called what? What is it called? When you take the money and you print it out of thin air.
Inflation? I don't know.
No. What is it called?
Give it to me, Dad.
You know it.
Yeah.
You know it.
Printing money?
When you print money out of thin air,
I don't know.
it's forgery.
I was
Lying.
never gonna get that.
When you forge money, you
Okay.
create money out of thin air, and you go to prison.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I'm clicking.
So you forge money, you go to jail.
Okay.
But the Federal Reserve, they can print money out of thin air, and what happens? They're forging money, but no, there's no consequence because they're the ones that control the money supply. Therefore, they control the world. That means
It's useful for me to know this, but I don't know what the
that
hell I'm supposed to do with this information.
that means that money in your bank account isn't yours. So first of all, I made a tweet. So I'm going to break it down for the newbies, but then also for the people who are in kind of like our category up. You need to have a basket of assets, right? So for the people that are higher up, you need a basket of assets. What are the basket of assets you could tap into? You can tap into Swiss francs, Singaporean dollar that are, you know, a little bit more stable than the US dollar, gold, silver, physical,
Why
right?
would we say Swiss francs out of all the currencies in the world?
Phenomenal question.
Principles.
Very simple. They've, up until the Ukraine situation, over the last 100 years, they've stayed neutral, right? And it's one of the countries that has been known, right, to protect its customers. And if you can manage Swiss francs that have, I think they have the lowest inflation in the world as part of your portfolio, I think it would be good to diversify from the dollar and the risk that's attached to
So
it.
they have a good smart contract. Okay.
They have a great smart contract. Because they also have really good banking privacy laws, so people deposit all their money there. And that's Swiss francs, Singaporean dollars, emerging country, very low debt, and great GDP. It's very small, but I think in its current format, it is one of the financial and technological hubs in the world. I'd definitely be comfortable putting my money there and diversifying there.
So you're essentially betting on the country's like
100%.
strategy or
and
philosophy
their lifespan.
Right.
So the U.S., I believe, has a massive lifespan. People are like, oh, the U.S. is going, bro. People have been saying the U.S. is going down for the last 200 years, right? It's chaos. It's the final Armageddon every time people are around, right? Dude, can you imagine World War II, what it was in like all around the world? People were probably fucking tripping. It was literally the end of the world. So that situation is going to happen again. But we need to take into account that the United States doesn't only have the dollar. They have the biggest military power in the world. And with military, you have force.
Yeah.
And with force, you have power, and you can exercise that. Why do you think they spend so much on the military? It's not because they need it. It's because they need to they understand that, dude, if shit hits the fan, we got the military. Don't fuck with us, right? And that's how America's going to end up playing. But just like Rome, that tends to be the last facet, and the last phase is military force, and it's brute force. It's your kind of last hurrah. So I don't know when we're going to enter that stage, but history repeats itself, and it rhymes extremely, extremely well.
So give me that rhyme. Is it CBDC?
CBDC is 100%.
And then what happens to existing money? US
Existing
dollars?
money. So my philosophy is that, let's say it's going to be a 1-to-1 transition. They'll call it like a 1-to-1 pairing to whatever currency
But then
you currently
earning
have.
power changes.
Earning power changes.
Okay.
Maybe the earning power doesn't necessarily change, but
Spending.
CBDCs are
Expiring.
central bank digital currencies, which tell you what? That money is not the money of the people. It's the money of what? The central bank. What does that mean? They set the rules on the money. Yeah. Money becomes programmable. So at any moment, right, the head of the Bank of International Settlements, he said the money that we're trying to create is money that is going to be programmable.
Right.
Which means at any moment, if you question the government, right, we can freeze your money for the next 2 days, or you already consumed your.
You go straight to the most evil
or
use cases, bro.
Because it's what's happening.
like, dude,
Do your research.
I'm like, dude, it's great. I can just like go to a store, don't even like scan my fucking items. I
But
just
you
go in,
can.
go out. Like, I'm excited about
But here's
it.
the thing, brother.
And then you're
Here's
like,
the thing about
they're gonna freeze your shit, and you're going straight to prison, bro.
what I'm saying is the Trojan horse always comes in as a gift.
Okay, makes sense.
And we have to talk about these scenarios because the world is worse than people think. But it's also extremely good. But we need good people leading the world. We need people that actually give a fuck on more than just their family name and their own reputation,
Legacy, yeah.
and their own bank account, right? So, like, what are these scenarios? We're talking about, you know, carbon credits and this entire like greenhouse emission, and everybody has their carbon footprint. What happens when you exceed your carbon footprint? No more food. You've exceeded your carbon footprint. And they'll tell you the same narrative, which is what? It's not about you. You need to
Save the environment. Yeah.
save the environment and take care of everybody else. If you look at the history of climate change, go figure out where it started. It's very interesting.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I agree with you on this one. But at the same time, do not like you're going to war with these people.
I'm not going to war with anybody,
Yes,
brother.
you are, bro.
No, I'm not.
Like you're building an audience, and you're telling people to like actually look into this stuff and wake them up.
But that's okay.
And if you get a big enough audience, you're gonna threaten them, and then they come after you.
No.
So are you trying to go?
No, brother. The only reason we have this information is because they allow us to have this information,
Okay.
which is why it's called the Great Reset for a system. They need to reset the system. People need to understand that this current system is broken in order to accept the new system.
I mean, it makes sense. Like
Exactly. So the reason the information is out there is they want that information out there. Carl Schwab doesn't just write a book called The Great Reset, right? For no reason. It's not a conspiracy. He literally wrote a book titled that. It's basically his entire manifesto. So you have these people that are telling you, hey, we want to reset the system for X, Y, whatever reason, right? Look into the reasons. See if you fuck with it or not. Dude, do you think I'm out here going to fight with billionaires? Think I'm out here going to argue? People can do whatever the fuck they want. But this is the information. Now look at every other source of information and every other opinion. I have a ton of people that would disagree with me. Be like, hey, globalization, CBDCs are really good.
I actually don't believe
central,
that.
you know, centralized kind of everybody gets their paycheck every single month, and don't fuck with us. We own everything, and you'll be happy. Some people,
they have said that. Yeah.
some people might accept that as a lifestyle.
Most people will.
And you know what? I'm not there to converse with those people, but I'm not here as a savior or any of that type of thing. I think I'm just having a really good conversation with an intellectual person.
Oh, I'm not talking about here. I'm talking about your wild ass videos. Go watch the other ones if you don't want to see what I'm
Nah,
talking
bro. My videos are chilling.
about. I just think that like if you're waking up people to this, then you get a certain amount of audience. I mean, we're seeing it happen to somebody right now that is a threat to your personality or your personal lifestyle. But I don't even want to talk about that right now. I really want to go back to objectively what does, because it's going to be fine for the everyday person. Like everything you're talking about, the Matrix will still exist. I kind of like the Matrix. The Matrix is good vibes.
Here's the thing, bro. You like your Matrix.
Yeah,
You like your Matrix. If you were
kinda learned it, and
in the
we're
Congo,
doing well in
if
the
you're in the
Matrix.
Congo right now and you were mining
enough.
cobalt and lithium, you wouldn't be fucking with that Matrix. So you just
but
have to.
are CBDCs like going to hurt them the most?
I have
Is
no
that what you're
idea,
saying?
bro. I have
Yeah.
no idea about how this, bro. Somebody's got to be out
It's
here
gonna hurt my
mining,
brain, dude.
mining for the iPhones,
Way above my pay grade right now.
mining for the iPhones. The iPhone that you have was built with slavery, right? The clothes that you have was
So how
built
does
with
that
slavery.
work on UBI? Robots?
Yeah, probably.
hopefully?
Probably something that automates. I don't know. Go watch
Straight Wally, bro. Yeah.
Straight Wally. There's a
Yeah.
lot of movies, and this is all predictive programming. They're showing you what
I
society is
agree,
going to
though.
be.
It's so scary.
Dude, can I tell something crazy? Look this up. When you turn on a Tesla,
Look at the camera.
okay, when you turn on a Tesla, there's something. I think Tesla's shit, right? It's a surveillance car. That
Really?
shit's 100%.
Damn it, dude. Another one.
They're a data company,
I have no idea what's going on in this world, bro.
brother.
Go on, finish.
Brother,
Sorry.
Elon Musk is like Lex Luthor. He wants to implant a chip in your brain. He owns the internet, the satellites on the internet. He owns your car. He owns your Wi-Fi. Now he owns your social media platform, and he owns the AI, and he owns the information that's going to feed the AI. And you think, dude, at any moment they can blackmail the dude for doing something that he wasn't supposed to do.
He's blackmailable?
Anybody's blackmailable, brother.
Okay.
They're human. They're human. That's why all these. Well, we won't go into that one. But anyways.
Thank you. Finish the test.
All right, so back to the point, right? So you have these ecosystems that you need to be taken into account, and not everything is what it appears to be. And the intentions may start good, but in the wrong hands, they can become extremely misused. And I think people need to be aware of the potential misuse for them to make an educated decision. And I think I'm just offering a different perspective.
I don't think Elon's bad. But I don't know a lot.
I don't know him. I'm not saying he's bad. I didn't say he was bad. I said he's like Lex Luthor.
Okay.
Because what was Lex Luthor doing? Competing with who? Superman to control what? The world. Dude, Elon owns the internet. He owns the social media platform. He owns the AI. He owns the brain chip thingy. He owns the boring company.
I'd do that.
Brother, people are out here to run the game. What do you want me to tell
I'm
you?
making the first
What am I
YouTube
saying?
video
I'm
with
just giving you
Neuralink.
straight facts, bro. Like,
This video
you
was
can do
made
your
with
research.
Neuralink, bro.
What were we talking about? I was going to make a point about something.
Tesla?
Oh yeah, the Tesla thing. Okay, look up a Tesla right now, and there's this thing that happens, which is when the car kind of has the cameras that record if anybody comes up to the car. That's what happens. It's like a prevention security mechanism. You need to look at the dashboard, and you know what the dashboard looks like as the line crossing through it with the little red eye. It looks like the evil character from WALL-E, which is literally the circle all the way down with the fucking line. I'm like, okay, the fuck is it? Is this such a is this a Matrix coincidence?
No,
what do you mean? Stop, motherfuckers! What do you
Bro,
mean? Stop! This shit's real. Look it up.
At Tesla could have just thought it was funny, bro.
And
Like,
it doesn't.
It's not like the.
But the point
tied
is,
to
the point is,
Freemasons or some shit, bro. Like,
brother.
I don't know.
I'm not saying it's
I
the
love
Freemasons.
talking to
I'm
you.
not saying it's the Freemasons, bro.
so-
I never said once that it was the
That's
Freemasons.
just how I take your tone all the time.
No, bro,
You get so serious. Look at your Tesla. Look at the cameras. A red line.
Brother, there's a
It's so
reason.
entertaining,
There's a
bro.
reason I have camera covers, right? Because your phone is a
I
surveillance
get
system.
that. If you have TikTok,
Apple literally runs an ad right now that says iPhone, period. It's privacy. The fuck it's privacy? It ain't no privacy. They're telling you that it's privacy, but it ain't privacy.
I mean, everyone was talking about how, like, in the 70s, the house would be bugged. Now we all put an Amazon Echo that's allowed to listen to
dude,
us.
look what Snowden said we're literally spied on. What do you do with that information?
You don't. You just keep living in the Matrix.
Exactly, you live in the
dude.
Matrix. But here's the reality. You have to be aware of that information if you want to level up inside the game. The people that run the game
Read
know the
psychology books,
rules.
people.
Know the
Look
rules.
at YouTube. You can learn.
You see that Trump pays no taxes? He did it all legally.
He told everybody.
Motherfucker ran the loopholes. He literally said to Hillary, the reason, right, I do what I do is why? Because you allow the rules to happen. So what you need to do is understand the rules of the game.
No, you need social skills, and you need to get in the right rooms, and you need skills so you can provide value, so you can get in there and people keep wanting to hang out with you because you're fun and you're good at what you do. There's
But you
no
need to
other way
understand how
around
the
it, bro.
rules, how the game is played, bro. You need to understand the rules of the game. Like there are unwritten rules on money. There's unwritten rules on
How do you get
relationships.
access to that information?
By leveling up.
Boom.
Yeah, I agree
Watch
with you.
YouTube, learn, get good at socializing.
I'm big on self-development, bro. You know I'm big on it.
100%.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard because when we talk about it now, we're like at a point where we can really put a focus on it, and everyone's like, they have so many little problems that they can't even like fathom it. But if you're trying to be successful, you're trying to level up like us. Like the biggest aha moment I had was if I eat bad food, I'm tired. If I eat McDonald's, I'm tired. I can work for like 4 hours less a day, and my mental is not clear. But if I focus on sleep, I eat healthier, I make better decisions, I can work longer, and I'm more effective. And if you put that version of me in a room with 4 other people, I'm gonna outperform them all, baseline, even if I was lower intelligence. People don't think like that because of commercials, because of the propaganda. That's the Matrix that I think is really bad.
That is real. But
Exactly.
that's conditioning. Somebody did that. Right?
For-
Somebody put the commercial.
Warren Buffett did that.
Bro, people think Warren Buffett's this nice dude,
His
motherfucker.
business model
This
is
guy,
addiction, bro.
his business model is addiction. Look, he owns Coca-Cola, dude. You think this motherfucker's out here?
Bro, he eats McDonald's every day.
Oh,
bro.
he eats McDonald's every single day and eats Dairy Queen every single day. Dude, he owns the company. No wonder he's repping his products. Yeah, well, I'm going to eat McDonald's because Warren Buffett eats McDonald's. Bitch, you ain't Warren Buffett. You don't own Coca-Cola. You don't have to be out here advertising McDonald's, whose #1 refreshment partnership is Coca-Cola. God dang, bro. Use your
This
head.
is so funny.
Use your head, bro.
That's a good PR team, though.
It's a
That's like
great PR team.
Why do I know that? I don't even know why I know that, but that's like a thing. Warren Buffett eats McDonald's every day, lives 5 minutes from his office, never leaves his house.
Because the 6 interviews that you
And he
saw,
lives in Nebraska.
because the 6 interviews that you saw from him, right? You've built your entire worldview off
Yeah.
of those 6 appearances of the people, and you need to understand that those perceptions are controlled. There's a book called Propaganda.
No
by-
one knows who's the CEO of BlackRock.
Last name Fink.
They're not going to know.
Oh, last name Fink.
What is BlackRock? They're not going to know.
Hmm.
Once you get to a certain level, you don't want people to know. Forbes 30 under 30, that's not a good thing.
Bro,
If you're at a certain level.
Bro, you're a clown. If you, bro, Chinese people pride themselves of secret wealth, right? In the parliament, basically, bro, run the Chinese Communist Party. There's over 100 billionaires. None of them are on the Forbes list. You see Putin on the Forbes list?
If you get to a
Bro,
certain
you
level,
see
try to
Putin on the
remove
Forbes
yourself.
list? it's a flex to not be on the Forbes list. There's people that are literally trillionaires. You look at the royal family, it says $2 billion net worth or something for one of these sheiks or these princes. Dude, these people are worth trillions of dollars. Trillions of dollars. And you think that you, with a couple $1 million, a couple subscribers, you're going to change the system? No. That's why I understand how the game is played. But I just like conversing about the reality of the situation, just like I converse about the other things. Like, for example, you look at the Emirates. They're now wanting to do something called like the line, right? That could be extremely dope, or it could be extremely chaotic. It could go any way.
It does sound cool, though.
It depends on the administration, right? But the citizens are the ones that help keep the administration in check, right? And I think that if people establish a desire and a little bit of willpower, they'll be able to control the narrative a little bit more. But like you said, you have no willpower if you're eating junk food, which tells you that
It's not that extreme. I made a lot of money eating canes every day. I made 6 figures eating canes every day.
But what is 6 figures, brother? When we're talking about
when I had enough money to sit on YouTube
Yeah,
and learn
bro.
for 4 hours because I was making enough money, then I could afford that time.
But what's the
then I learned, and then I leveled up to the next 10x.
Yes, but what's the paradox? What's the paradox is that people neglect their health to make money to then spend that money on health. It makes no sense. Why can't you keep a balanced life and check across the entire board?
I agree. If I did it earlier, I would be here
100%.
I wasn't where I am until I was 26.
Yeah.
I could have been there 24, maybe, like Sebastian, something like that. But
Agreed.
something like that. I don't know. But I just think the most important thing for people to understand is that, like, if you're trying to, it's all PvP. The whole world, people are not, again, acting in your best interest, and so you need an edge. And so either you need to learn more, so you need more information, you need to access better information, so you need to meet new people, you need to move somewhere, or you need faster information, meaning you've met good people who have met other good people, and you get information faster. If I get a text from you 9 times out of 10, I'm going to make money on what you said. Okay? If I get a text from my friends in high school who never moved out, they're just going to be talking about going to a bar on Saturday. And so, like, that is the priority number 1. Learn enough information, become valuable, then get access to better information, and then get access to faster information.
So
Those
can we
are
talk
all
about how to
edges.
make? So we talk about. Should we dissect the first one on how to make money, like how to become kind of like
The
free?
easiest answer is get a skill, offer that to someone, solve a problem. They'll give you cash for it. Use that money. I really don't think you should spend time thinking about investing until you have. Don't get into real estate
I
unless
agree.
you have millions of dollars.
Bro,
Like,
real estate is slow.
slow. And when you
Slow,
can make a
dude.
software company with infinite leverage with like 10 grand, and it could scale to millions of dollars.
And
a
you
month.
and if you have a really cool product, and a lot of you guys can make really cool products, you want to run TikTok organic to it, and you test your theory on your product instead of building out a full company. Now you can go do research and development and market research for free.
It's like-
when 20 years ago you had to spend thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars to have a PR firm or a firm that manages public relations and social life to
You
do
had to
all
run
of the R&D
Facebook
for
ads,
you.
bro. You had to run
100%,
Facebook
dude.
ads, and that was expensive as shit. $10,000 was like 5 to 10 to really test a product. Now it's like make a product, make a TikTok, it could go viral.
Which is what I like about what the social media platforms are doing now is they've come to realize that people were getting tired because there was no reach, right? So whatever algorithm changes have been taking place, I think are bringing a lot of people back to social media platforms. And I think that there's a lot of value and opportunity for young entrepreneurs, for young cats that are hustling to be able to make some money.
It almost neutralizes every piece of content. Like
neutralizes-
instead of like having a bad algorithm, your viewers aren't watching, so your channel dies. It's like every one you have a chance if you make a good. Piece
Every
of content.
single one.
It's like a unique algorithm per video instead of like your channel essentially.
And I break it down like
subscriber
the
base.
idea of making money. I break it down into 3 steps, like how these 3 are the 3 qualifiers whereby you decide whether you're going to do this thing or not. To guarantee yourself making money in 2023, you need to have 3 boxes checked. The first is you need to be the best at what you do, right?
And that can't be like you have to.
You have to be the best at what you do.
Acknowledge that you're not.
Yeah, and exactly.
And use that to learn more.
Exactly. Humility
You're
is
not
extremely
supposed to be
important.
good at the beginning. Like
But it's striving, right? So become the best at what you do. And that doesn't mean at a global level. That may be at a regional level. That may be at the level of your district or your audience or whatever it may be. Become the best at what you do. The second is make sure that what you're doing is in high demand, right? Because you need a big
so important.
audience
Yes.
in a big pool of people that, or a potential evergreen ecosystem that allows you to have a big customer base and to be able to what? Scale and expand. You can't do that with a small audience.
Yep.
So you need to be the best at what you do. You need to be doing something that's in high
Big
demand.
market.
And then finally, you need to do something that makes you irreplaceable, right? Which guarantees you what? It cements your ability to scale. Who's going to replace Amazon?
Not possible. For now.
Impossible for now.
AI. But they
Correct.
They own all the cloud.
There you go.
Side topic.
So You need to be extremely good at what you do, the best at what you do. You need to do something that's in high demand, and you need to be irreplaceable. Your ability to be irreplaceable.
I would finish that statement.
Your ability to be irreplaceable gives you the safety haven whereby you can thrive, and you become irreplaceable by becoming the best at what you do and by being in high demand. Why? Because if you're in high demand, that means that there's job opportunities and job openings. And I know that this theory is true because look at the amount of premiums that Facebook and Amazon and Google were paying for software engineers in 2021 because they were developing crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, the bonuses were nuts. They were poaching each other. Why? Because these software designers, they were the best at what they did. They were in high demand and they were irreplaceable, which means you need to pay them bonuses to keep them around.
So I would, on the irreplaceable, I'll put it in a different phrasing than how I like to think about it. It's you're choosing to do something harder than what everybody else is doing. So drop shipping, the reason people think drop shipping is dead is because anybody can do it, really low barrier to entry, sounds really easy, get a product, do a TikTok video. But people don't understand the depth of which each step you need to go into to actually be successful at drop shipping. You can be successful at drop shipping. Is it the best model? No. You want to actually get the product yourself, have your own warehouse so you can get higher margins. But within that discipline, it's not like shipping a product, making a store, and then running an ad is
well,
going to
drop shipping isn't the skill you're learning.
It's the copywriting of the landing page.
Correct.
Psychology. Read these books.
Marketing,
Robert
sales,
Kiyosaki.
fulfillment,
How do you make the most
administration.
eye-catching first 5 seconds of your TikTok so the algorithm hits? What do people respond to? Do they respond to an explainer video because you have an older demographic, or is it an 18-year-old kid who just needs instant dopamine, deep-fried memes, like the most ridiculous sound design? Like, you have to be very conscious of who this would be for, where they live, what gets their attention. They get to a landing page. How do you convince them? How do you show them that this is their problem, this can solve it? Like, there's so much fucking depth to each level.
I agree.
And people just think they're going to make a store, run an ad, it's going to work.
And that's why people are like,
that's naive.
What are the
You
best
have to kill.
What are the best niches to drop ship in 2023? The best niches is pick up a damn book,
Read a
motherfucker.
book. Yeah, that's so funny.
And learn,
Yeah.
dude. The fuck you doing? Do you think I'm gonna answer
such
your
a-
bullshit ass DMs
It's such a
and give
bad
you
answer.
years of experience for free when I don't even know you? You're not even my boy.
If
I would never in a million years. You're not even ready for it, and that I think is part of why drop shipping is harmful, and a lot of online
'cause
businesses
it's so
aren't harmful.
easy, right?
Is because the barrier to entry allows people to reduce friction, which goes back to my initial point. Your ability to think and to process information differently than other people is what's going to give you an advantage. The reason I did $16 million in 2019, right? 2019, 2020 in drop shipping was because I thought about things differently. So when COVID rolled around and masks were like the hot thing and hand sanitizer were the hot thing, all social media platforms got together and banned them on the advertising platforms. Why? Because the margins were stupid. People were selling masks for like $100, like just price gouging. It was disgusting.
If you had the supply, you just ripped
Correct.
it.
And what did I do? I was like, well, I'm not going to go against terms of service. I'll get all my ad accounts shut down. So what did I do? I thought. I was like, okay, maybe I can't sell it to people, but the fear and kind of the entire narrative is still in people's minds. Who else is in their home that they extremely love that isn't a person? They're pets. So I was like, okay, let me redesign sanitation and house cleaning products for pets. And I ran up the fucking craziest
One
ads.
extra little touch, one
There
extra
you
little
go.
niche.
The same products marketed to a different pocket, to a different audience
You
in a
love your
way.
pets, don't you?
And the thing is, it's true, right? Because the products were eco-friendly.
Exactly.
They were bioavailable.
Foundational, 100%.
Yes.
I
So
know
they
we
were
sound-
extremely good. So one of my criteria for product research is the product has to work, right? And that's extremely important.
It's kind of rare in that niche.
You cannot scale because I'm not here to do $50,000 on a product, dude. I'm here to do $5 million on a product, $4 million. I had the 10th or 12th biggest ad in like Facebook history at that point. I think it had like a quarter billion views in paid traffic. Like I think it was like 100,000 comments.
That's impressive.
Something really
To
crazy.
scale that high, yeah.
So
Comfortable.
what I needed to do was make sure that the product was quality and that it was good. But I marketed it differently.
The word of mouth is literally what pushes it past that, essentially.
Agreed. And that's what people don't understand about the ad platform is that the ad platform needs to push to virality. If your business is only sustained by ads, you're fucked.
That's just the test to see if people
fucked,
will spread
dude.
it organically.
Exactly.
And so that's why dropshipping. I personally, I think dropshipping was the best first business to start because I learned what the steps were. Because I didn't even know that you needed to like make a funnel or run ads or whatever. And so I learned the whole steps. But then it gets really easy to protect your ego and to fall into the trap. Be like, oh, this ad didn't work. I need to get a different product. So I need to test 100 products. But it's like, no, you need to test like every aspect. Test the ad, test the video, and just make it better instead of just defaulting to the product or the business model and like giving yourself a cop out. So I don't think dropshipping is the best thing to start, but I do think it's the best way
What
to
would
learn.
you say is the best thing to start, in your opinion? I'm gonna turn this fire thing on. You want to turn this fire thing on?
I don't know. I teach future technologies which are not the best to start in the short term. Like NFTs are going to be big in 3 to 5 years, in my opinion, or maybe less.
So okay, back to my
AI.
question. Where do you think AI?
But again,
AI
is,
arbitrage? AI arbitrage?
Yeah, but you have to still you have to know how to hire a developer. You still have to know how to market something. And so it's like the best one to start is just to start something. Like I think it's a hard, like if you're literally
like
nothing,
flipping,
a
selling,
physical hard skill that you can sell to people in your social network in the first place.
Okay,
My first
so a
business
service.
was video. Yeah.
So a service.
To make enough money, and then in your free time, start testing
And what I would say also, bro,
SaaS
is
product.
get a skill that'll put you into extremely valuable rooms. Make sure that the skill that you're gonna get is in high demand, that you're the best at what you do, and that you're irreplaceable.
Facts.
And
100%.
so get a skill within those
All you
three
need.
criteria. I think that's
At a
a
high
great way to
level,
put
that
it.
nails it. But you have to understand how much depth there is to each level. And if you're doing the service approach as your first business, aka like video, you can pick up a video, shoot a family.
I think people have
event.
the wrong opinion about entrepreneurship, bro. They're
Just
so
listen-
microwave. They're microwave mentality
They
about
think
everything.
they need to go straight to
dude.
the top. But if
Fuck,
you're doing a
dude.
service and you're making money, make 1,000 a week, that should be your first goal. Just when I was shooting videos, I would just listen to podcasts or audiobooks about psychology, about sales, about how to talk to people, or anything I was interested in. And so it's like you're doubling up. I'm actively getting better at the skill, meeting people, so I'm practicing my social skills, selling them on my services, while also simultaneously learning while I'm doing it the whole time. I'm editing videos, podcasts. Like you can learn from the best fucking people. The reason my AI videos are doing well is because I just watched, literally like I said earlier, all of the CEO podcasts 2 weeks straight, didn't do any work, just learned. And then I could pick up what they were putting out and then just say it in an interesting way, and it just clicked for me. So I just made videos faster than people because that's my
And they're
focus.
fire, bro.
And that's because I just spend time learning.
Yeah.
And then I can be out in the world selling videos so I can talk. And I made videos for years, so I got good lighting and I can do it fast.
Got good lighting here. That
It's
is
all a
true.
compound of like video.
I'm guessing the lighting is
marketing.
good. I haven't seen the camera, but I trust you, bro.
I like dramatic, moody lighting, and I only could bring one. If I could have had a choice, I would have like 7 here. But I think the symmetry's good. Backlight makes you pop. Rembrandt, nice triangle in your face. Yeah, good vibe.
good, bro.
I just flexed right there. But
The
yeah,
camera
I mean,
gear.
do you think there's a first business that would be best? I think it's so subjective.
I'm
to the
so
person's skill set.
I'm big on.
What are your advantages as an
So
individual?
you can sell in 3 different departments. You can sell physical products, digital products, and services. Most things fit into one of those 3 categories: physical products, digital products, services. Let's talk about the pros and cons of each one in the next 60 seconds. Pros and cons of services. Services, it requires a lot of sweat equity and hours.
No scale.
Scaling is extremely difficult unless you hire people.
Still.
But easy to enter if you want to, let's say, mow grass, if you want to do plumbing for yourself, things of this nature. It's extremely possible to make money in that avenue. Services is possible, but you're also a slave to your clients. We talk about a lot about the social media marketing agency stuff. That's also you're like a slave with golden chains, because these guys, if they want to call you at 4 a.m. and they're giving you
Right.
$4,000, $5,000
Yeah.
retainer in the morning, these motherfuckers, they want answers.
Been there, done that.
Right? So you also have to look at the headaches and the cons on that side. Physical products, cons, supply chain is fucked across the world. Margins are extremely slim. If you're running paid traffic, I would say your cost of goods should be 25% off of your 100%. If it goes past that, there isn't a lot of margin for error. And then people need to take into account not just margin of profit, but margin of error, because there needs to be kind of that
There's gonna be
area.
fuck-ups.
Chargebacks, broken products,
Supply chain breaks,
supply,
yeah.
anything that happens.
Out of
it's
your
like it's
control.
like your maintenance
Out of
money.
your control, yeah. I
Correct.
learned
So
this
you
from my
need
dad.
that buffer. The pros with it is that you can literally pick up TikTok organic,
Yeah.
and you can sell a product.
It's never been easier, but you have to be
And
very
they're,
selective.
they're the nuances
But
there. And you
also
can
never
get a
been
land.
harder, 'cause
Correct.
everyone can do it now,
Correct.
so. Exactly.
So the
Different game.
the sustainability goes back to what we said, thinking, right? And that's where the advantage is going to come. And then the final one is your digital products, which are extremely good. People running info products, dude. You don't.
SaaS is the answer.
Dude, it could be, but there's a lot of people that can't go SaaS. But let's say you're ripped, right? You could literally start an Instagram account, a TikTok account, and be making $10,000 a month
Info
after
products?
a year. Yeah, just running an info on
Digital, yeah.
how to build a physical body that is phenomenal, right? So you can have
But you have to have that skill first. Takes
correct.
time.
Correct. But these are the 3
And you
avenues
need sales,
that
yeah.
you can approach for sure.
Copywriting, all of
But they all
Yeah.
apply across the board. But within these 3 pockets, you can find your avenue: physical products, digital products, and services. Pick one, attack it, and get extremely good at one. I was focused my entire life on physical products. I haven't done info products. I haven't done anything in that niche. And right now I am going into digital products because I want to get really heavy back into crypto. You know, right now I don't fuck with crypto. I don't really like the condition of it. But the thing is, if I want it to change, I have to change it, because if we don't take action, then who's going to, right? Like, why the fuck wouldn't I go out and potentially create an exchange that actually holds the customer funds?
That defeats the whole purpose of crypto.
You know, like, why the fuck would I be fractionalizing my customers' money? Why couldn't I just be responsible and just make money on trading fees or whatever it is that I do, or listing tokens? So the point is, there's so much room in the ecosystem of services and digital products as well, which is kind of why I'm transitioning out of physical, because there's tightness and difficulty there and friction, and I hate friction.
100%.
To more into digital products and exploring kind of the internet space.
Software, infrastructure, like Web3, specific smart contracts, different standards, learning.
And you guys are closing. You guys are closing top.
I'm
not talking about it, but you guys are closing. You guys are building super close ties with industry leaders based off of the information that you've developed and the skill sets that you've developed in this decentralized space, which is really crazy.
We want to make the change. We want to set the standard. Crypto, NFTs, horrible reputation for what the outside is, but the underlying technology, huge problem solved. So that's why I think it's the best one to be in, because it's got digital ownership, no bigger scale, in my opinion. AI, no bigger scale. When you talk about size of the market, those cannot find two bigger markets than that. And then they're also the most high leverage you can be if you can productize and make software packages out of them. So that's what we like to work on.
I agree.
But it's going to be big 3 or 5 years before we see that
reward. But it also takes
the reward's going to be fat.
You need money. For example, like, you guys probably have mad dev costs and all
Payroll
these things.
Close to 6 figures.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? So not everybody can do that. And I think that SaaS is dope. But if you're not a tech like CEO, and you're like the marketing CEO or the branding CEO, usually you want to have something that balances both ecosystems out. You need somebody that pushes product and somebody that makes product.
Because when we're talking drop shipping,
correct,
you're the jack of all trades. You have to do all of the 10 things.
Correct,
and
which is difficult to do when you're doing software. It's like, it's kind of fucking
then
crazy.
It goes from, once you have enough money, once you're making 50K, 100K a month, you take all that money and you hire the best copywriter, the best ad writer, the best media buyer. Like, that's what you do, and that's how you get to the 100 million.
It's getting to that initial place. That's why so many software companies go into funding and raising
goes back
money.
To being irreplaceable, and that's why they pay so much.
Correct.
Like, yeah. Full circle. Okay.
Full circle. That's how we work, brother.
Dude, that was a fun ass conversation.
I had a great time.
We got to do it again.
Yes.
Again.
100%. We have to do it for my channel.
That'd be fun. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Check out Luke Belmar. It's pretty much at Luke Belmar everywhere, right?
And you're crushing the new content, bro. I'm telling you, I'm proud of you, bro. You're going
too nice
crazy, bro.
All right. Well, guys, if you're interested in AI, I'm your guy. Web3, I'm your guy. Taking over the world, leaving the matrix, and being a great
just
human
living
being.
life, brother. We got a slope tomorrow.
Yeah, we're hitting the
slopes.
Yeah,
we're hitting the slopes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Brett, thanks for having me, brother. Appreciate you, G.